This month's sponsor is Triple Whale. Supercharge your ad campaigns with their revolutionary analytics platform because better data means better campaigns. If you're running any type of paid media, then you need to be using Triple Whale. Find out more at trytriplewhale.com. Hello and welcome back to the D2C Deep Dive. If I told you that I could scale a brand from £10,000 to 28 million in only 2 years, you'd probably laugh me out of the room. Well, Ron from Obvi did that. Him and his team have scaled Obvi, a health and wellness brand, to 28 million in only 2 years. That is incredible. And that's what we're going to be talking about, because why wouldn't you? Ron is going to be giving us all of his secrets about how him and his fellow co-founders have managed to scale such an incredible health and wellness brand in such a short space of time by focusing on community. This is such a valuable episode, so keep your ears open and let's go for it. Ron, welcome to the D2C Deep Dive. It's so great to have you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Fraser. Thanks for having me and excited to be here and share a little bit of our journey.
I'm absolutely pumped for this episode because when you first got in touch, you direct messaged me on Twitter and said, Fraser, I want to speak about how we bootstrapped from 10K to 28 million in 2 years. And at that point, it was basically impossible for you not to be on the podcast because that is like such an amazing story. But for people who aren't sure who you are, aren't sure of your background, your brand, give us the lowdown.
Absolutely. So my name's Ron Shah. I'm CEO and one of the co-founders of Obvi. Prior to Obvi, I was actually an accounting major, was supposed to go the route of being an accountant, like my father. Worked at Deloitte Consulting for a couple of years out of college. And got the opportunity to start as a start working as a controller for a startup back in 2012. Took the risk of leaving corporate to work in a startup phase, but still in my niche of accounting and finance. Love the startup space so much, and especially health and wellness, because the immediate impact of seeing what you can do to people's lives was so rewarding. Compared to a lot of other careers, you can still have a rewarding career, but nothing that's like, oh, take this and you can feel this and you can feel better, you can do this. So really love the space, love the whole startup kind of portion of building my career on. So I got to meet my two lovely co-founders today back at the same company that I started at right out of college, which was a company called Shreds. And we were, all three of us had different skill sets. So I'm an ops finance background with a heavy learning around marketing. And then my other partner, Ash, he's actually the paid marketing CMO genius for marketing. And then I have a third partner, Ankit, who is a creative genius. He was actually rated top 25 designers under 25 years old. So us three kind of worked at this company together, but we covered different sectors of the brand, right? Mm-hmm. So you kind of come together because you're not, overlapping each other. So it's pretty cool. Started our own marketing agency right after we left the company together. We started a company called Ghost 3 Media back in 2015, ran that for about 5 years, worked with about 25 different clients in the health and wellness space. Our goal was to always create our own brand one day because us three were super close and we had the three main facets you need to build a cool brand right from get-go. So we said, why don't we create a marketing agency first to learn what to do and what not to do. Obviously, if we can make some money along the way, that's nice. Learned a lot of what not to do. 2019, we finally felt that we've learned enough for 6-7 years. Let's build a brand of our own. So that's where we are today.
Wow, amazing. So what happened with that marketing agency? Did you just close it down, pass over your clients to other people and just get to work, or did you exit? Or
yeah, no, great question. When we started Obvi, there's a decent churn rate that comes with marketing agencies, right? The things change, or you've built them up enough and they think they can do it on their own, etc. So we were dwindling down our clientele list in 2018 into 2019, knowing that, okay, 2019 is probably going to be the time we start our own brand. There were a few clients that were with us the entire almost 5 years.
Wow.
That even until 2020, we were still working on it because they were like, oh, we don't want to work with anyone else. So I think we really officially phased out Ghost 3 Media in probably mid 2020. when we were like, okay, we really need to focus on Obvi now. And we at that point had to phase out the clients. But no, we did not exit. We basically sunsetted the agency.
So Obvi, like we spoke about at the start of this, you went from 10K. Was that just 10K that you guys put together in a bucket and were like, let's just spend this to start a brand?
Yeah. One of the things that happened in our marketing agency is we were kind of the nice guys that would finish last. So what would happen is we'd always do a ton of work and we'd never kind of like be good about collecting payment or we'll always say, yeah, pay me later and this and that. And what happened was we ran a great agency that accrued 7 figures in revenue, but like in the collection piece, we were not that great. And so 5 years after, we were still living in studio apartments and still having it kind of rough. But we were like, you know what? We've learned enough knowledge. Although we may not have enough money to start a brand, let's at least take our knowledge and see if it can help us win. So we put together a budget and we said, all right, we can each put in maybe $3,000. And what can that get us? So what we saw is we can get the lowest minimum run of 2 different collagen flavors because we wanted to be in the health and wellness and we love the collagen space a lot. We can get 2 different collagen flavors. We can get 240 units of each. Okay. And we have to sell this profitably to be able to place the next order of 400 units. So right from there, that $10,000 was all that we could put in. Even that was scary because if that didn't work, we could possibly not be able to pay rent, blah, 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 and so that part was a little bit scary, but yeah, that's all we had at that point.
And then you scale that in 2 years to 28 million.
Yeah.
Let's just that is insane growth. People don't see that unless they have a VC stepping in and investing.
Yeah.
Like how did you achieve that scale? Did you go into it thinking we're going to get this to 20 million in 2 years?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Like, just break that down for me. How
we
on earth
went
did
into
you do
this? Yeah, we went into this thinking, okay, if we can cover our rent and we can cover our personal expenses, we could live a modest lifestyle, and we still live a very modest lifestyle. But our point was, let's just build a lifestyle. Okay. And what happened was, I think the power of 3 really came into play here, but not just the power of 3 in the type of, founder set we have. It's the skill sets that we covered. Up until really 2020. So almost a year into the brand, we didn't even hire anyone because we didn't need to, right? I had marketing, ops, finance, design, all those pieces covered. So when you have a good team to kick this off with, the work piece becomes so almost everything gets covered, right? You have great coverage right from the get-go. There's no I got to hire this agency or I got to spend money on this. We kind of handled everything from the get-go. So no overhead was great. And then from the day one with Ash's, marketing experience, we were able to convert on ads literally from day 2. So day 2 was profitable. And then lastly, the way we designed the brand, the whole goal was to be a showstopper brand, right? So pink, loud, fun, eccentric, all the things you can describe to make you stop and ask what it is. That's how the branding, the label, even the name of the brand was thought of. And so from day one, people were like, I don't know if I want this, but I definitely want to know what it is. And so the buzz, kind of started right from the get-go.
That's amazing. How did you manage that growth? Because I've spoken to a few founders which have dealt with similar growth where it just explodes. And a lot of them have struggled to cope with that because that isn't, a lot of businesses are used to the slow build up. You have time to hire staff to prepare, to make sure you have enough stock in, all that stuff that goes along with scaling a business.
Yeah.
How did you cope with such scale so quickly?
We took out the guesswork and we took out the assumptions. What I mean by that is every part of the business, inadvertently, we were looking for answers that were going to work. Okay. And so what we did was, a simple thing is we asked people. We asked our customers. We asked people who came to our website. We asked everything so that we didn't assume what to do next for our business.
Mhm.
And that was kind of, we can touch on later, but what turned into a community today, right? But from day one, even after 1 month into selling our product and selling out in our first month, our first question to our customer base of 300 customers at that time was, what do you want to see next? What flavor do you want to have next, right? And that turned into, when we launched what they asked for, it was another sellout, another
Mhm.
stock out, another stock out. And so when you start having ability to launch and innovate while making sure those products can actually sell out and perform well, you're now in a place where you're growing, and you're able to have cash flow, positive cash flow,
Mhm.
and you're able to actually show innovation very early on in a brand. So now you're like the new kid on the block that stays being new, right?
Yeah.
You're constantly have every new gadget, you have every new toy, you're constantly the hottest kid on the block. So we kind of stayed with that mentality and we just took out the guesswork. And I think sometimes the challenge becomes, you may take the first two steps well, but your third step can bring you back a step. And that's where managing becomes tough.
Mhm.
For us, we just didn't take any guesses.
So would you say that that's been your biggest driver for scale, is listening to your community, making sure that you're acting quickly on things?
Number one driver. Listening to the community, making sure that everything that we're doing has a purpose. And it's not just, oh, yeah, this sounds cool. Sounds like a good idea. Let's just do it,
Yeah.
and three founders just coming up with how to build a business. We literally we treated the first set of 100 customers the same way we treat, now 250,000 customers. Where, hey, you guys just help us build this brand. Like,
Mhm.
it's a completely consumer centric approach. So yes, we're the founders and all that of the brand, but the true builders of the brand are our customers.
Let's talk about your customers and the community you have, because I've been following all you guys on Twitter for a while, and even Facebook actually, and you guys have the craziest community of customers I have
Yeah,
ever known in a brand. You have a Facebook group which is, hundreds of thousands of members. You
yeah,
have you literally tweeted, I think it was yesterday, that some of your customers could easily like send product from their home just by the
yeah,
sheer amount of
yeah.
product they have. Like how did you manage to build such a strong community? Because people can buy your product, but whether they invest in the brand or not is completely
Yeah,
separate. So how did you
100%.
ensure that your customers became part of a bigger community?
Yeah, I think you worded that question really well, because sometimes it's always asked like, oh, how'd you build this community? And
Hmm.
it's not about that. It's how do you make your customers feel a part of something bigger?
Yeah.
And what we did from day one, because it was inadvertently created, right? We truly didn't know what to do next for the brand. So we asked them. And
Hmm.
what that built was trust. It showed that we were vulnerable of not trying to be a know-it-all, right?
Yeah.
Usually many brand owners will feel like, I don't want to ask my customer. They're going to feel like I don't know what to do, how to do with my brand,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, that's so good.
From day one, we're like, we don't know what we want to launch next. Why don't you just tell us? And when you become vulnerable, your customers don't look up to you, they look to the side. And
Yes. Yeah,
looking
yeah.
to the side, left and right, is truly what a community is, right? Because in a
Hmm.
community, you don't have any hierarchy. And so when we showed that vulnerability of building our brand, when we showed vulnerability, like even me, I was about 52 pounds higher than I am today. When we started this brand, I shared my journey and I said, I'm dealing with imposter syndrome and the fact that I have a health and wellness brand, but I'm not that healthy. And sharing these efforts and exchanges, we would go live in the community every single week. Me and Ash, we still do till this day. Just talking, we'll chat it up and we'll say hi to these, old time customers, new faces. And what we did was we took out this idea of we are above them, because we truly can't have built this without them. So we let them know that as often as possible. And I think that's truly the sense of a community, is
Mm.
when everyone is vulnerable enough to share what they're going through. So that's how we built it, is each part of our brand showed vulnerability, whether it was building the brand, whether it was us founders having weaknesses, or whether we told our community or our customers to share what's truly bothering them and that it's a safe space. Those things together, I think, culminated it.
Yeah, that's such a great answer. Community is definitely at the heart of so many successful brands, and clearly yours. I think one of the main parts that you brought up there was so many brand owners believe that they are above their customers. And that is such a great point, because as soon as you almost, it's like buying something off your friend, isn't it? Basically, because you're part of the community, they feel like they're just buying it off their mate on Facebook.
That's it. It's
so great.
Such a good analogy right there. It was the other day. I think it was her name was Kathy Gibbert, and she was like, "Oh, I'm really stuck. Like, I don't know which one to get, what flavor, this and that." Right. So I remember I had commented something like, "Kathy, are you a peanut butter girl or not? Just tell me the truth." Right. And she said, "I love peanut butter." So I said, "Hands down, go and grab the peanut butter one. I literally love that flavor. And if you don't like it, tell me right away. I'll replace it for anything else." What it did to her, for her, and again, she obviously bought, but the thing wasn't about the sale. What it was about was relating the emotion of, you feel lost. You're at least letting me know. That's great. I've been lost before, and here's how I found my path. I found a flavor I love. Right? I'm not here going and saying, try them all. They're all great. Trying to sell you. I'm letting you know I have favorites too. There are flavors I hate in our lineup. I don't like the key lime pie one, but showing that true authenticity, I think, helps. But you have to, I think, do it from day one. And for us, I'd be lying to you if this was our goal from day one, but it turned into a very realistic vision slowly into it.
Yeah, and I bet there's a lot of brand owners who are maybe thinking now, all right, maybe I should start investing in community, or maybe they haven't even started the brand yet, but they want community to be one of the main focuses. What would be the biggest piece of advice that you'd give to them?
Yeah, don't expect anything out of them. Anyone you ask to join your community, expect nothing out of them, because the minute you expect something out of them, you turn the community into a business objective, and you lose the essence of the word community. What it's going to turn into is a sales group. When the minute you expect something out of it. So be as authentic as you can, and just know that the more you put into it, you're probably not going to get more out of it, but you have to keep putting more into it. We, till this day, I mean, the sales are great from the community, but if the sales weren't great, we wouldn't change a single thing we're doing. So I would say, commit to it. Don't ask them for anything. Don't ask them to buy. Treat yourself. If you were a customer of your own brand, how would you want to be treated? That's how you should act in your community.
Yeah. Was it something that you consciously decided to do from day one? Did you guys sit down and were like, okay, I'm seeing that community needs to be a main focus. Let's go really, really hard on community. Or was it something which slowly picked up pace as you saw that more people were interested in your product?
It slowly picked up pace, but the piece of the part of the community that was never the goal was growing it into this thing that's huge and like has so much engagement and this and that. What it truly was we wanted to keep innovation pipeline, right? Like a year like last year when we won brand of the year, we did 26 launches last year. That's one every 2 weeks. Okay. We were able to get to that point because we were able to ask our community, what do you want? And because we kept following that pattern of what would you like next? What do you want Obvi to do next? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? It turned slowly into, oh, wow, like this is working. We need to put more efforts here because it's working for the business. And then look at what's coming out of it. So I think by the end of 2020, probably mid 2020, it was like, we're going to drive everything through the community. That's going to be our start and end point.
What channels have been the most successful for you in terms of building that community? Because I know you guys have a very powerful Facebook group, but have you found that other social platforms are great for it as well?
What we have been doing is if you try to, I believe in the whole theory of if you try to be everywhere, you're not going to be anywhere. So we focused on just Facebook. We use that as the funnel point. So whether it's email, SMS, social, TikTok, whatever it may be. We drive everyone to Facebook. And that's been the most successful. The other piece is you also have to know your demographic, right? Our demographic is 35 to 50-year-old women.
Yeah.
They thrive on Facebook, right? Now, if it was a Gen Z brand, I don't know if Facebook would work, right? Probably not, to be honest. You probably have to create something more in like a TikTok room or Twitter room, you know? But point being, I think we stuck with what works and tried to keep one point of interaction.
Yeah. How does that funnel work? So let's say that someone lands on your website. Can they join your Facebook group straight away without buying anything? Or is it something that
Absolutely.
maybe, there's a leaflet inside the packaging or?
Ooh, it's tough to cover all of them, but if you come on our website, or if you go on YouTube, or if you go, get a package from us, or SMS, email, advertising, we have tons and tons of touch points, and everywhere we can talk to a customer, we let them know about the community. So even post-purchase, first pop-up is join our community. Right on the website. We have a landing page on our own website that was created just to show people what the community can offer. So if you click on join community and on our website, it takes you to a landing page. Like, for us to have created that, it was more for like, we really need to show people what this is about, not just some random group to join. So we try and bring them multiple touch points throughout their journey.
Yeah. Wow. And let's quickly jump back to that bootstrap story. And
yeah,
if the right investor came along, do you think you would have taken it?
No. We've had tons of really good conversations with tons of really good VCs, and we still are currently having. There's a piece to this that, for us, truly and transparently, isn't about the money. And the minute you coin anything VC or PE, that shift has to be about money. And effectively, we never wanted to put ourselves in a place where we're making decisions for money. I think we'll have to get there eventually, right? Because we have a goal to exit the brand one day. But till then, I think we just hold it too close to our heart right now to be able to take that step. But that doesn't mean we're not going to do it. I just think we want to build it up to a point till we can get critical mass. And then when we need that critical mass to say, okay, now Obvi deserves to be seen everywhere, and we're not the right people to do it, such as retail, let's say, that's when we'll say it's time. We did the most we could do with Obvi. Now let's get some more experts to take it to the next level.
Yeah. So what in your mind is next? What's next up on the lineup for you guys to achieve?
Yeah. Our next goal is to basically build out brand to be a little bit more forward reaching in terms of categories. So right now, obviously health, wellness, even protein bars, drinks and stuff like that, they're doing great for us. But the way we're looking at our consumer through our community is, and I'm going to go really detailed here, but we look at them when they buy Obvi, they're going to store this in their cabinet space.
Yeah.
Okay. Somewhere in their kitchen cabinet. When you open one of our customers' kitchen cabinet, there's tons of stuff in there. Okay. They have coffee, they have skincare stuff, or maybe some medicine or this or that. What we want to do is we want to get Obvi to the point where we can take over the entire cabinet. And that means supplements for their pets, coffee ground coffee offering, RTDs, basically go super horizontal with our offering, because we've built the brand equity and trust on the top. And the only thing that we have to be careful about on this journey is causing brand fatigue. You don't want someone to get sick of it. So we're trying to get to a point where we have these brand evangelists, hundreds of thousands of them. Instead of constantly spending $60 to acquire a new customer, how do we sell more to these people that love us and that we love them? How can we get them more trusted products from the company they love? So that is the next step. The next goal is to go a little bit more horizontal with our offering and fill out these cabinets, because that would probably do a little bit more justice to our customer base, instead of constantly saying, I want to get another 100,000 customers new. I want to get a new 100,000 customers, which we'll consistently acquire, but want to sell more to our current base.
Is this something the community want? Have you spoken to them and be like, I love an Obvi coffee, please give it to me?
Yes. Yeah, it was a survey we did recently, beginning of this year, and we said one of the questions was, let your imagination soar. Right, we do a survey every quarter, just to get the pipeline ready for the next quarter. In this survey, I left this one question. It said, let your imagination soar. What do you want to see from Obvi? And don't stop at collagen. And it was unreal. I wish I could show you the survey, but it was unbelievable to see what these people and customers and evangelists trust us to release to them. And it completely shifted the mindset of, wow, we could do this for them. We have a structure, we have the bandwidth to possibly do this for them. And that part feels like the first time that we felt a powerful way to actually make even greater impact. So yeah, that was really cool.
How quickly can you churn out a new flavor? Like, it seems like you guys can be really reactive in terms of the products that you're creating.
Yeah. So if you told me that you want let's just call it a peppermint mocha flavor today, okay? I'll go to my R&D guy over at manufacturing. He'll get me samples in 2 days. Wow. The day we get the sample, my team and I, all 9 of us, will sit down, sample it, give our feedback same day. Within the next 2 days, if we have any changes, they'll send us a new sample. Once we approve it, they send us the details to create a label. Ankit, my partner, he will knock out a label in 3 hours. We send the label to print. We place an order. Order takes anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. So from start to finish, 7 weeks to get a new flavor launched.
That's absolutely incredible. That is so fast compared to so many companies where it takes them months and months to react to things. Has that been another reason, do you think, that you've managed to scale so quickly?
Huge reason. The one part that we don't have to worry about is that question, right? That assumption is this going to work, right? Because then you dilly-dally. Then you say, well, what if we did cookies and cream instead? Or what if we did this instead? No, the community asked for this. Let's give them what they want. And then we'll go to them and say, hey, we expect you to buy this because you asked for it. Yeah. But you know what it is if you're able to create a pipeline and have a good manufacturing partner and just good trust built throughout the system, it works. You can work that fast. Well, the other thing is we all stay in our own lanes. I think we call our company it's something like everyone's a CEO of their own department. Yes, everyone has some feedback here and there, but at the end of the day, we trust the onus of the person who's handling it. So when Ankit creates a label, we may say, oh, I wish you use more macaroons on the thing. And he'll say, oh, I'm glad you wish that, but this is what we're sending to print. And that's it. It's simple as that. And you move forward. So each person has their domain, they manage it. And I think there's just a lot of accountability.
That's so incredible. Just to wind down now, one question that we ask all of our guests. It's the same question. And I kind of think I know the answer for what it'll be for you guys. If you could just use one advertising platform for the next 5 years, what would that be and why? I have a feeling it might be Facebook, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's Facebook. It's 100% Facebook for us, partly because of the demographic that we target. But the other part is Facebook as a whole provides for more outlets of interaction within its platform. Right. So if I need to send someone to a group on TikTok, let's say, I still need to send them outside of TikTok. On Facebook, I can send them to Facebook. I can send them to Marketplace. I can send them here, where Facebook's created outlets within its platform to provide to, whoever you may be paying to target. And I think that's just super powerful. But the driving reason will definitely be our demographic.
Yeah, I think that's one thing people forget. Everyone's kind of jumping off the Facebook bandwagon and heading over to TikTok. And I think people forget of how long Facebook have been in this game and how they've absolutely streamlined the entire advertising system. It's just all there.
You nailed it.
Ready. Yeah, it's just ready for you to jump on. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, Ron. Thank you so much for coming along. It's been a real learning experience, and I'm sure many people at home have also learned things from yourself. If people want to catch you on social, what's the best place?
Well, again, first of all, thanks for having me, Fraser. It's a pleasure. Great chat. And socials, you can look up Obvi CEO on Twitter. And then on LinkedIn, I'm actively, very active there too. Just look up my name, Ron Shah. You'll find me there. And then I'm on Mentor Pass now, which is pretty cool and exciting too. So those are the best places.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. No, likewise. Thanks for having me.
And that's it for the DTC Deep Dive this week. Hope you enjoyed listening or watching, however you absorb the DTC Deep Dive. I hope you thoroughly had a good time. We'll be seeing you next week, next Wednesday, and we'll be doing it all again. If you want to listen to any past episodes, then feel free to have a look through the archive. But if not, subscribe for future episodes because they just get better and better. I'll see you next time.